my son's touchscreen.
There we go. We're going to talk about human social behavior. And one of the things I've learned more from Cesar Millan about human behavior than I have from most of my graduate school education. Do you know who Cesar Millan is?
No.
The dog whisperer.
Oh.
Now, I don't agree with everything that Cesar Millan believes in. There are some things that I think don't necessarily translate in his theory, such as dogs are not wolves. But if you can train a dog, you can train a person. And if you can train a person, you can train a dog. The principles are the same. And I want to warn you guys, though. I'm going to use a metaphor of dog training to help you understand people, because it's easier for us to understand dogs. I'm not insulting you. It's probably the biggest compliment that I personally can pay you is to compare you to a dog. It's not meant to be insulting. But what I want to talk to you a little bit about is why I make these social comparisons. So I have a friend who's an anthropology teacher. What is the mammal that people say that humans are most like? Monkeys, apes. Socially, now I think biologically, I mean evolutionary says that. I don't want to get into evolution, but socially we're much more like dogs in how we behave. If we were really monkeys, we wouldn't have foster care. We wouldn't have some of the social problems that we have. We have different ones, but not the same ones. So he vehemently disagreed with me, and he was one of those very strong-headed men. So of course I had to set out to do my homework and find out why. And what I found out in my research is that, when you studied evolution, and I'm not getting into evolution, but we're talking about evolutionary process. But if you go back to the basic of evolution, there's this point at which we were Homo erectus, which basically means, so Homo erectus is the man that stands up. And at some point, we became Homo sapien, which is sort of the form that we are today. Have any of you heard of the missing link? No? The missing link. Well, we can't figure out how we went from living in caves to living in larger groups of people. It's called the missing link. What we find is during that period of time, that was the first time we started to see humans buried with dogs. In that case, it wasn't dogs. They were Canis lupus, which is in the species. It's the same species, but became a different animal altogether. So why dogs? I mean, why would dogs help us? Is there any way that the dog could be that missing link for how we got from living in caves to how we are now? Have you guys ever thought about how ill-equipped to survive we are? We're ridiculous. We should have never survived. We can't tolerate the heat. We can't tolerate the cold. We can't tolerate the wet. We can't tolerate the dry. We're slow. Our vision stinks. Our smell stinks. Our hearing stinks. Yes? Mm-hmm. The sloth is better able to survive. In fact, every species in the world is better able to survive than we are. Most of us cannot just go out into the world and live. I mean, we need to cover ourselves. We need all these different things. We're an evolutionary mystery. We should have never survived. So how would the dog help us survive? Very good. All their senses are strong compared to ours. Before, we lived in small caves of small groups. And we couldn't settle down because we couldn't hunt large game. We also couldn't have large groups because how many people can you feed with rocks and a rabbit? Not many. Probably what happened is that there were some little baby wolves that started following humans around because humans leave trash everywhere. And then they domesticated them. At that time, who was the more evolved species? The human or the wolf? Mm-hmm. The wolves were far more evolved, both socially and in their ability to survive. We are the only animals to co-evolve. Which means what? Co-evolve. So as we changed, the wolf changed into the dog, right? As we advance, the wolf advances. And we evolve together. I don't want to start in whether when the world was created in creationism and evolution. That's kind of beside the point. But I have a papillon. It's about this big, looks like a rat. DNA is nearly identical to a wolf. can we agree that there is a shaping process or an evolutionary process in that case, wherein we took a wolf and made it into this thing that doesn't look anything like a dog? So there's that process. So we change, as we change, they changed, and they became a different species altogether. Because we cohabitated so long, our social behavior is the same. One of the things that's really interesting about dogs is that they're only mammal that have what we call theory of mind. In fact, most humans aren't very good at it. So theory of mind. Not even elephants, whales, there's a lot smarter animals than both us and dogs that don't have theory of mind. And here's what theory of mind is. Theory of mind is understanding that what I see is different than what you see. Doesn't seem complex, but it actually is really complex. With kids, and I worked in the labs that actually do these studies, kids don't understand that what you see and they see are different. So if I take a 3-year-old into the lab, and the 3-year-old watches me hide a cookie in a drawer, and the mom's there. So here's the mom, here's the kid, we're hiding the cookie in the drawer. So mom sees the cookie in the drawer. Mom gets up and leaves, and I move the cookie to a box and ask the kid, where's mom gonna look for the cookie? What will the kid say? In the box. Well, the mom, what's the answer? The correct answer is in the drawer, right? The mom saw it go in the drawer. Only the kid saw it go in the box. Why is the kid going to say, Mom will look in the box?
That's what he saw.
Right. He thinks that what I know, you know. Do you see how many adults don't have this down? It's called theory of mind. So dogs are the only species besides humans that can do it. And you can see that if I point to something, the dog will do what? We'll go look at it. We'll try to figure out, what am I pointing at? What am I seeing that you're not seeing? We've done studies with this too. It's really fascinating, their thought process. A dog evolves to the process of about a 5-year-old. So all the different thought processes that 5-year-olds go through is what a dog goes through. I mean, socially, that's how intelligent they become. If I take a treat and I hide it in a drawer, and Sid comes home, where is my dog going to tell Sid the treat is?
In drawer.
She's going to take Sid to the drawer. But if I take the treat, I put it in a drawer, I lock it with a key, and I put the key in the other room, where's the dog going to take Sid? To the key in the room. Isn't that crazy? The dog understands that Sid didn't see me do it, and therefore Sid doesn't know what happened, and will take her to where it really is. That is a very complex understanding. So dogs evolved with people, and we evolved with them. We have a lot of the same characteristics. So if you understand basic dog hacks, you can understand how people behave.